CM Punk refused to apologize. Roman Reigns ambushed him. The Usos delivered the physical response. The stretcher rolled. The dust settled. And the entire WWE universe thought the family had spoken. And then The Rock walked to a microphone. What happened next in 3 minutes and 47 seconds was not a promo. It was not a segment. It was not professional wrestling verbal warfare operating at an elevated level. It was an execution. The most precise, most devastating, most completely overwhelming verbal destruction ever delivered on a WWE stage. And by the time this breakdown is finished, you will understand every single word of it and why it will never be forgotten. Stay right here. This is the most important thing The Rock has ever said in a WWE ring. And you need every layer of it. Before the words can be understood, the silence that came before them needs to be understood first. Because The Rock did not respond immediately when CM Punk first crossed the line. He did not fire back the same night. He did not post on social media. He did not request a segment the following week. He was silent, and that silence confused some people. Some wondered if The Rock was choosing to stay above it. Some wondered if the final boss had decided this rivalry was not worth his direct involvement at that level. Those people did not understand how The Rock operates. The final boss does not respond to provocations immediately. This is one of the most important and most consistently misunderstood things about the way The Rock approaches conflict. He waits. He identifies the precise moment when a response will land with maximum force. He understands with the specific precision of someone who has been studying the art of consequence for 30 years that the most devastating response is never the first available one. It is the one delivered when the target has fully committed, when the choice has been made permanent, when the refusal to do the right thing has been said out loud in front of the largest possible audience with no room left to walk it back. CM Punk refusing to apologize was that moment. That specific public permanent declaration that he stood behind the father comment. That he made that choice deliberately. That he was not going to acknowledge he was wrong. That was what The Rock had been waiting for. Not the escalating rivalry. Not the individual provocations. The specific witnessed completely documented refusal to do the human thing when the human thing was right there available to be done. CM Punk closing that door permanently and publicly in front of the entire WWE universe was the signal The Rock needed. Because before that refusal, The Rock's silence could be interpreted in multiple ways. After it, there was only one interpretation. The quiet before the storm is not the absence of weather. It is weather building. And then the final boss broke his silence. The entrance came first. And the entrance itself communicated everything about what was coming before a single word was spoken. This was not the showman's arrival. Not the crowd-inclusive energy-generating performance of the People's Champion connecting with his audience. Not even the most serious, most authoritative final boss entrances that the 2026 WWE chapter had previously produced. This was something singular. The specific quality of someone who has decided completely and without reservation what they are about to do and is walking toward the doing of it with the focused certainty of someone for whom the decision is already made and the execution is what remains. He walked without theatrical gestures, without the usual interaction with front-row audience members, without the practiced showmanship that The Rock performs so naturally it usually looks effortless. All of that was gone. What replaced it was something 60,000 people in that arena felt at the same moment. The specific atmospheric shift that happens when someone genuinely dangerous walks into a room with a specific purpose. The crowd noise changed. Not quieter but different. The specific difference between an audience enjoying something and an audience understanding something. They felt it. They registered the absence of the showman. They understood from The Rock's presence alone that what was about to happen was unlike anything that had come before it. CM Punk received that same message from wherever he was watching. And whatever your person feels in the moments before consequence arrives, that entrance delivered it. Then the opening words. And the first choice The Rock made in those opening words was itself the most perfectly constructed entrance into a WWE promo this generation has ever witnessed. He did not begin with CM Punk's name. Think about what that means. Beginning with the target's name is what professional wrestling verbal warfare does when it is operating as entertainment. When it is a segment. When it is a promo. The Rock did not do that. He began with Roman's father, with the specific person whose name CM Punk had used as a weapon and whose legacy had been sitting undefended and unacknowledged since the father comment was first made. He established before anything else, before CM Punk's name was even present in the arena, what the actual subject of everything that followed was going to be. Not CM Punk's career. Not his championship program with Roman Reigns. Not the WrestleMania 42 competitive landscape. A father's honor. That framing was the foundation of everything that made what followed so completely devastating. Because it meant that everything The Rock said after that opening arrived in a context that CM Punk could not respond to through his usual channels, could not counter with competitive intelligence, could not redirect through sophisticated strategic communication. The best in the world's greatest weapons are designed for professional wrestling conflict. The Rock removed professional wrestling from the equation entirely in his opening sentence and replaced it with something human and permanent and beyond the reach of any promo response. What followed was 30 years of the most extraordinary verbal capability in sports entertainment history, operating at full power, motivated by the most genuine personal fury that CM Punk's choices had generated. Every word placed exactly where it needed to be. Every pause carrying exactly the weight it needed to carry. Every escalation arriving at exactly the moment it needed to arrive. The best in the world had no answer. Not because CM Punk lacks verbal ability. He has more verbal ability than almost anyone in professional wrestling history. But because The Rock had removed the framework within which that ability operates and replaced it with something that the best in the world's specific competitive intelligence was not built to counter. You cannot out-promo someone who is not doing a promo. You cannot redirect a verbal attack that is not attacking your professional wrestling persona. The Rock was not talking to CM Punk the performer. He was talking to CM Punk the person. And that is a conversation the best in the world had no preparation for. 3 minutes and 47 seconds. That is all it took. The final boss ended CM Punk. Not physically, not with a championship, with the truth delivered in the most precise, most devastating, most completely overwhelming way that professional wrestling has ever witnessed. CM Punk refused to apologize. The Rock made certain that refusal cost him everything. And WrestleMania 42 will never be the same.